6 minutes away from 10 o'clock, Bill Colley with you on Top Story, wrapping up today's edition of the program. We're almost through the week. And I've always said this, that, it usually seems to just fly by. But yesterday I was commenting that this week seems to be really long. Tomorrow, Friday, though, maybe it's because it's payday and I've been waiting for that it seems like it's been forever. You know how that happens in your life? Well, yeah, some of you are probably familiar with that. You got bills to pay. You want to get them done as quickly as possible, and sometimes you want to jump the gun on that a little bit. 75, looks like it's going to be up to about 97 in some spots today, maybe even some places a little warmer. I had something I wanted to share with you today before we wrapped up the program. I found this morning on the Fox News feed. There was a story out about 6-7 years ago that said that China was graduating about 60,000 engineers a year, while the United States was teaching courses in 16th century cross-dressing at its colleges. And that was really said to be, and then it was later said that, well, some of those Chinese engineers are just people, they classify a lot of different roles as engineers. Still, obviously they take things in some parts of the world in academia much more seriously than we do. I think this is an example that just shows you the rot that is going on, where we used to challenge people to really think big things and develop big things. This is a story I came across on the Fox News feed this morning. I wanted you to take a listen to this.
He used to use Star Trek as an example
to relate to trends and current technologies and information.
But Syracuse University professor Anthony Rotolo says students wanted more.
So I thought, what a fantastic idea. I wonder if I could ever get them to let me teach a course on Star Trek.
Yes, they did. And that first class 5 years ago drew students from all programs, leading Rotolo to a new frontier, a free online class independent of the school and open to anyone. Using Doctor Who for the trial run, people signed on from 5 continents. So next month, it's Star Trek's turn. There's no homework.
There's no pressure. It's just a lot of fun and a lot of discussion and a lot of thinking about Star Trek and what it has to say today.
Not ruling out a future Star Wars class. Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
Yeah, I like Star Trek too. I was one of the few people who liked The Next Generation better than I did the original series. The Patrick Stewart series, I like that better. But, however, if I spent 15 years of my life, unfortunately, working in that. Well, if you were going to give the world an enema, you'd put the tube in Syracuse. Let me put it that way. But the university, it sits right on a really bad part of town, or on the edge of a bad part of town, and it's really, really expensive. One of the reasons I didn't go there, they had a great broadcast program and journalism program. I did not go there. I instead went to a state school closer to home, was because the state school was about a quarter of what Syracuse University cost. You are sending your children off and you're paying a fortune for them to go to college, and they're taking courses in Star Trek, which apparently aren't graded, which apparently it's just a lot of fun, as the guy says, and you just sit around and jaw about it. And he said, the students really like the show, so I thought I should teach a course about it. Okay, at the expense of what? This is what I'm getting at. At the expense of what? What could we be teaching people? Even while I was at a state school, which is supposedly very secular, I had Bible courses. Did you realize that? Even as recently as the early to mid 1980s, we used it. It was under the guise of history. We had a professor. He was a very devout Catholic, and that was his sly way of getting that done. And we had courses where we had to read massive amounts of books, all the way back to Thucydides in Greece, and Plato, and Aristotle, and then we would read Jonathan Swift, and we would read Adam Smith, and we would read Eugene Ionesco and Samuel Beckett, and that was it was an 8-hour course. It lasted for 2 semesters, and each time you got 10 great big books you had to read, and then the next semester you got 10 more. And that was supposed to give you a well-rounded education in how we developed Western civilization and the mores and the values that we have. And now today, it's 16th century cross-dressing, or it's like, oh, I really like the Trouble with Tribbles episode. I'm told that in some colleges, students really like sex, too. Are they just going to open up the doors and have orgies and give them credit for that? I know some of you are thinking, how can I get into that course? Please, please, please. News is coming up next, followed by Rush Limbaugh at 10 o'clock. Hope you have a great day. Bill Colley with you on Top Story. God willing, if the creek don't rise, I'm back here tomorrow.